Joey Ternullo here from RaceChoice.com at the Team Critical shop with our Team RaceChoice Driver, Emma Monahan, our 2022 truck champion at the Nuano Waterford Speed Bowl. Thank you, Emma, for joining us. Congratulations on your championship this year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your season?
So this season kind of just fell into our laps. Going into the season, it wasn't like our main priority. We just wanted to learn the truck, what it was doing, how to grow as a driver, and then slowly points started to add up, and then it slowly just fell into our lap of going into the last event with a 10-point lead if we could hold it off or not. And then we ended up getting it, and it really wasn't the main focus, but it was amazing.
Cool. And I know you've been in trucks a couple of years now. This is your third year, you said, right?
Yeah.
So you did have some experience going in. Obviously, you mentioned that you picked up your first win this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting to get your first win, just like your cousin Brody in the same year.
Yep.
You won the championship. So
yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your win and how exciting of a day that was?
Yeah. So for the first 2 seasons, we were in the Exit Realty Tour, which was constant traveling. I never really got to learn what the truck was doing or how to adjust. So our first season, when I got my first win, that also fell into our lap. We were running in second and the leader just broke with 5 to go. So it was pretty shocking, hard to believe that.
I think I was there that night.
Yeah. So it was hard to believe. I was like, wow, this is really happening. I'm gonna get my first win. And as I crossed the finish line, my dad came on my radio just bawling his eyes out. He was like, "Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much." So it was definitely an amazing feeling. And there were so many people at the fence, and it was just to see how many people support.
Yeah, I assume most of your family was there obviously that night, so that had to be a memory you'll remember for a while.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah. So I know, again, you did win the championship this year. I mean, that is just, that's awesome. I think a lot of talk about it was female drivers winning championships at Waterford.
So I was the first Saturday night female.
Yeah. So tell us, how did that make you feel?
It's honestly amazing. There's been so many people that either message me on Messenger or they get my phone number, and it's either a babysitter or a mother, and they'll send me videos of their kids who I don't even know, and it's their little girls are cheering me on, or with their little toy cars pretending oh, I'm Emma, I'm racing with the big boys. It's so cool to see how many people actually watch the females and want to see the females do good for once.
Right. And I know, you've been running at Waterford for some years now. I know you were in the Bandoleros for a few years. Tell us a little bit about, the transition from Bandoleros to this, and is it, mostly just learning these from experience? Do you think the Bandoleros definitely helped you, or you kind of think this was a new ballgame?
I think this was definitely a new ball game. It was harder for me to adjust where the truck was on the track. I would go down the straightaway and I'd bounce off the backstretch because I just didn't realize how close I was. Because in a bando, you're right here. So it was definitely an adjustment. And then learning how to shift and everything was also an adjustment. But I think it was better because it was actually racing grooves you could use. In the Bandolero, it's so just one lane. That's all you can really do. So it was definitely an adjustment, but I think a good adjustment for me.
Right. And now going more personal, I know you were born into racing.
Yeah.
I mean, your whole family comes from racing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, did you ever think that you'd be sitting here talking about a truck championship?
No. Absolutely not. Yeah. I really thought after the Bandolero, it wasn't going to be much more for me, honestly. I didn't see myself going any farther with it because I don't know. I just ended up getting into a stump of I'm a girl right now. It's just harder. It's a harder mindset. You go out into the future and you're wow, do I even deserve to be out here with the boys? And then it takes my first 2 seasons in the truck. Before this season, I was telling my dad next year I'm ready to be done. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. So
then I don't know. Just once you start gaining your confidence back, it's wow, I do deserve to be out here.
Yeah. And is it kind of a mentality where you're I don't know if I'm going to quit. I can't quit. I mean, my whole family races. Yeah. I mean, it's going to disappoint them. I'm born into it. Even if I quit, I'm still going to be around the track.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. It was if I quit, at least I can come support Brody or my dad if he wants to get in it. But I was at that point where I was I'm not doing good. It's really embarrassing. Me and my dad would get in arguments about it because I was so upset about how I would race. I would go race somewhere. We drive 3 hours just for me to finish 10th of 13. And it was even though I was still learning, it was it's just so in your head.
And what do you think the coolest thing is that, I mean, your cousin races.
I think that's my little man.
Yeah.
Like, I support him for everything, and I think he is amazing. When he first got in the truck, he had absolutely no fear, which was insane to me because he's going from only bandos and legends to a truck, and it was like, oh my god, like he's actually running really good.
Right.
Like, so I love watching him, and I love
kind of just like Sean and your dad. They got to drive everything.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah. It just sucked. I missed, I think, his first couple wins.
Yeah.
Because just how the schedule fell, but like the ones I could get to, it was amazing. Yeah. Just to watch him. So
that is the racing side of what you do. Why don't you talk about what you kind of do in the off season as well as career-wise?
So I just graduated from cosmetology school about 2 or 3 months ago, I'd say. So I'm a full-time hairdresser.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I like to do haircuts and all that and fun colors, and I really enjoy. My sister does pageants, so I'll go into her pageants and I'll try to help with like hair or makeup or something like that. So I've just been furthering my hair education and trying to build my clients and all that. So.
And is it kind of weird explaining to your friends and your clients that you're a race car driver?
Yeah, a lot of them are like, "What did you say? Like, what do you mean a race car driver?"
It's like, not a. You can't. It's different. It doesn't pair up very believable, right?
Yeah, like I'm just a hairdresser that races trucks at the speed. Well, they're like, what did you say? And I'm like, I do. Yeah. Yeah. So I put like a little picture on my station so people know what I'm talking about.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people have helped you, over the years, especially this year, winning your first truck race and getting the championship. Who do you got to thank, and who do a little bit of a roll call?
So my dad and my stepmom are probably the biggest role in my entire racing career. They really pushed me. My stepmom is just like my biggest cheerleader along with my sister. My dad makes sure I have the fastest truck no matter what we're doing or where we're at. We're always one of the fastest. My whole crew, they work day and night on this truck to make sure that it's the best it can be. And then for some of my sponsors, I obviously have RaceChoice, which is an amazing one. And then I have Broadbrook Heating and Cooling with Dennis. He does a lot for us as well. We have Philomena's Fram Filters. Where did I stop? Fram Filters. Did I laugh here? Fram Filters?
Yeah. Okay, just say. So
I have Fram Filters, Grillo's Pickles, Hawk Performance, Redline Oil, Landrum Springs, Streecy's Automotive, Coney Jacques, Brewster's Home Improvement, and then Northeast Race Car and Parts.
Definitely a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely have forgotten a ton of them. Yeah. So Broadbrook Heating and Cooling gives me a lot, and I always forget them.
What's 2023 looking like?
I really want to get into a late model. I'm obsessed with late models. I want to go to the tour. I want to go through ACT. I want to just experience everything.
How's Diego think of that?
He likes late models too. We went to the last ACT race at the Speedway, and he was like, we'll be here next year.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely one. So I think we're looking into another full season of trucks and then occasional appearances in a late model, because I ran the late model last year, one race, and I fell in love with it then. So it's just a matter of getting back into it.
Cool. Well, I'm definitely, happy to be a part of Team RaceChoice with you guys. Just an awesome family that has contributed not all so much to me, but just the race community as a whole. With your father's business, Critical screen printing, and obviously your uncle, Critical Signs and Graphics. A lot of my car is all Critical.
Yeah.
Gear included for as long as I can remember. So can't wait to celebrate in a couple of weeks to celebrate you and Brody's championships, and we will hopefully see you on the track in 2023 and able to sponsor you again.
Yeah, absolutely.